In 2010, one of the most harrowing cases of child abuse and torture in modern British history came to the light. The victim, 15-year-old Christy Bamu. His death was the result of a horrifying belief in witchcraft, a superstitious fear that led to prolonged physical and psychological abuse at the hands of those he trusted. Welcome to Twisted Logic, and today we will explore the background of the case, the events leading up to his tragic death, and the trial that followed. This is the witchcraft murder of Christy Bamu. Christy Bamu was born in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, but later moved to France with his family. His parents, like many others from their homeland, held strong spiritual and religious beliefs, which sometimes included fears of supernatural forces. Such beliefs are not uncommon in parts of Africa, where accusations of witchcraft, often called kindoki, can lead to severe punishment, even death. In December 2010, Christy, along with his 4 siblings, traveled to London to visit their older sister, Magali Bamu, and her partner, Eric Bikubi, for the Christmas holiday. They were supposed to enjoy a festive season, but what awaited them was a nightmare of unimaginable cruelty. Shortly after their arrival, Eric Bikubi accused Christy and his siblings of practicing witchcraft. Christy's younger siblings managed to escape the wrath of Bikubi and Magali by falsely confessing or convincing them that they were not involved. However, Christy, who was skeptical and resisted their claims, became the main target of their escalating abuse. Bikubi and Magali were deeply convinced that Christy was possessed by evil spirits and that he was using kindoki to harm them. Driven by this delusion, they subjected him to excruciating torture in an attempt to exorcise the so-called demons. The torture lasted for 3 days, between December 22nd and December 25th, 2010. Christy was deprived of food and water, beaten relentlessly, and subjected to cruel and degrading acts. The exact details of the abuse are stomach-churning. He was struck repeatedly with metal bars, knives, a hammer, and even heavy tiles. He was forced to pray for forgiveness and beg for his life. He was denied sleep, hydration, and medical assistance. He was cut with sharp objects, causing severe wounds. His teeth were broken and knocked out. At one point, he was forced to consume his own urine. During the ordeal, his siblings, though also terrorized, were powerless to stop the brutality. Some of them were forced to take part in the attacks, likely out of fear for their own lives. Eventually, Christy was so weak that he could no longer fight back. As his body shut down from the relentless torture, he begged for forgiveness, despite having done nothing wrong. On December 25, 2010, after enduring 3 days of torture, Christy was barely alive. He was too weak to stand and was slipping in and out of consciousness. As his life drained away, his tormentors attempted a final act of cruelty. They tried to purify him by forcing him into a bathtub filled with freezing water. This final act proved fatal. Christy, exhausted and covered in open wounds, could not fight back against the icy water. He eventually drowned. Realizing that Christy was dead, Bikubi and Magali panicked. They called emergency services, but it was far too late. When paramedics arrived, they found Christy's battered body on the floor, his injuries so severe that they initially struggled to determine the exact cause of death. His siblings, traumatized and shaken, were finally free from their captor's terror. The investigation into Christy's death quickly revealed the horrifying details of the abuse. Both Bikubi and Magali were arrested and charged with murder. As the case unfolded in court, the brutality of the crime shocked the nation. During the trial at the Old Bailey in 2012, the prosecution presented overwhelming evidence of the sustained abuse. Medical experts described Christy's injuries as some of the worst they had ever seen. His body bore over 130 separate injuries, evidence of the unimaginable suffering he endured. Bikubi, a former football coach, admitted to causing Christy's death, but claimed he had been mentally ill at the time. He insisted that he genuinely believed Christy was possessed and needed to be cleansed. However, psychiatrists dismissed his claims, determining that he was not insane, but driven by deeply ingrained superstitions. Magali Bamu denied having a significant role in the murder, attempting to shift the blame entirely onto Bikubi. However, witness testimonies, including those of Christy's surviving siblings, proved that she not only allowed the torture to continue, but actively participated in it. Her betrayal of her younger brother was one of the most heartbreaking aspects of the case. In March 2012, after a harrowing trial, both Eric Bakubi and Magali Bamu were convicted of murder. Eric Bakubi was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 30 years. Magali Bamu was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 25 years. The judge condemned their actions, describing them as a barbaric and sadistic display of cruelty. The case sent shockwaves across the UK, shedding light on the dark reality of witchcraft-related abuse within some communities. Christy Bamu's death was a senseless tragedy, one fueled by ignorance, fear, and cruelty. His suffering serves as a reminder of the importance of protecting children from harmful beliefs and ensuring that no child endures such brutality in the name of superstition.